Lady and the Tramp to Scamps Adventure. Um, I didn't even think to watch Lady and the Tramp 2 before watching the remake, which I will be doing tonight, because there's an anime movie actually coming out on Netflix called Whiskers Away. Review sometime tonight or tomorrow. And I'm excited for it. I'm going to watch it when it comes out at midnight. And so, it's a good... And so while I'm trying to kill time, get some reviews and do some things out, right? Waiting over to watch the remakes, and I clicked on, Lady and the Tramp again on here on Disney Plus, and then I was like, right after the remake was the sequel, and I was like, well, alright, I'll just watch the sequel. And it is... The best thing about this movie is it is shorter than the original. It actually has longer credits than the original, like no joke. There is a full 8 or so minutes of credits, and in the original, I think there's like 5 or so minutes of credits, maybe less. I think it might even be just 2 minutes. And this movie's terrible. It's just the plot of the first movie, except with some weird implications and some strange ideas. But what really bothers me about it, obviously, this movie had to recast the voice actors, okay? Because this movie should not have been made at all, okay? Here's the problem with doing Disney sequels at all to any of their movies, even remakes. The original Lady and Tramp came out in 1955. This movie came out in 2001. So you got 46-year-old movie, and you're making a sequel to it. There's no way you could do it the same way and have the same artistic integrity that we had years ago when this movie came out. And yeah, this movie has a terrible voice cast. Scott Wolf, I believe, plays Scamp, and he is awful. Everyone in this movie gives a terrible performance, but him specifically, because he's supposed to play this little puppy, and he sounds like a grown man, like a 30-year-old grown man, and it's weird coming out of this puppy dog. Remember I said it had weird implications? So the story is that, Scamp, sick of his home life, goes out and falls in love with this other dog who's like a street dog, and there's this whole complication. But anyways, the leader of the street dog is an older dog, because he knew the dad. It's not like these two are the same age, puppy and this little dog. No, she's older than he is, which is kind of creepy. If you think about it, because she more than 5 seconds, because if she's she could be full 10 or 20 years older than he is. Well, maybe not 20 years, because dogs don't live that long, but still, this is kind of creepy. I don't know if it was intended to come across that way, but it does, because you're like, okay, this dog is clearly older, he knows the dad, and just the voice acting on, the dad, Tramp from the first movie is terrible. He sounds somewhat like the original one, but not really. He doesn't sound close enough, and it just, yeah. And the animation obviously isn't good. It's direct-to-video, but it's not that bad. What really is annoying is the dialogue here, because it's just so bad. And, I like the score in the original Lady and the Tramp, and, some of the songs were all right. Most of the songs were just okay, except for that, "Oh, this is the night," that song. But in this one, it's just so bad. It's just they flash lights and colors. It's they think kids are dumb, so they just flash a bunch of crap in the front of the screen, and so they're like, here you go, kids, be entertained. And this is a kid's movie. The dialogue is written for little 5-year-olds to understand. The most notable thing here is that the voice of Phil and Lil plays the two Scamp sisters, so I don't think the concept of the story is bad, a continuation of Lady and Tramp like this. I think there should have been, but it's just like, it's 51 years late. 46 years later, it's, the Lady and Tramp has such an atmosphere to it while you're watching it. It feels like a classic piece of art. Even as someone who doesn't like it, it just, I don't know how to explain it. This just feels blah. It's just blah. Just get it out of here. Like, and you could argue, well, who cares if it's that bad? My kid, it'll be entertaining to kids. I'm like, okay, but the original Lady and Tramp would be entertaining to a kid, right? So why don't you just show them the original and then just not show them the sequel? You know what I mean? Just not show them this movie and show them a good movie that they will like. Because, I mean, it's not that hard, right? Oh, God. But, yeah, I will be, for every Disney animated movie from now on, I will do the sequels just to torture myself. So expect in the future some reviews of the Little Mermaid sequels that I did cover, and probably the series. I hate myself so much. I make myself suffer. But yeah, there you go. Look at the gross, realistic looking dogs on that screen. I don't know if you can see it very well, but yeah, look at that, because that's what we're talking about next. I hate myself. I really do. That's why I do this to myself. That's why I do it. To make myself suffer.